Crystal, I didn't know that you made YouTube videos.
I do.
That's so freaking cool. I'm gonna go subscribe to your channel.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing another DIY. This one I'm really excited about. I think it's gonna come out really cool, hopefully. So I had been watching a lot of Dollar Tree DIY challenges, so I was inspired by that and kind of wanted to see what I could come up with just from walking around the Dollar Tree. So we are going to be making an interactive, oversized tic-tac-toe wall board game. You know what I'm saying. So I went to the 99-cent store earlier today, picked up 9 of these frames. I was actually looking for a gold one, but they didn't have a gold one that was gonna work for this project. So I got these black ones. They have a pretty decent thickness to them, which is what I needed, and you'll see why in a little bit, but these are 8 by 10. Again, I wanted this to be, you know, a decent sized art piece, interactive art piece. So of course I got the biggest frames. Again, I always do way too much. I also picked up some faux flowers. I was originally going to do all white flowers, which I thought would have been really chic, but unfortunately the white ones that I saw were too large for this project. So I decided to do 2 different colors, which I think is actually going to be probably even cuter. It just doesn't really go with our decor, which is the issue, but I think it's still gonna be really cute. So I have these light pink ones and I have these darker pink ones. So those are the main 2 items that we'll be using for this project. Those are both at the Dollar Tree. So I picked up 10 bouquets of flowers, 9 frames, so $20. I feel like I might not have enough flowers, so I might have to make a second run to the 99-cent store, but we'll see. Anyways, let's get to the project. Okay, don't mind the mess. I don't know how all those other people that do all these DIY videos have such clean tables all the time. Every time I do a DIY, my space is just such a mess. So the first thing we're gonna do is, of course, unwrap these guys. And then we're gonna take out all of the inside pieces. So we have this piece of cardboard. We're gonna put that aside. We're actually gonna be using those for this project, but we can take out the rest of the stuff and then just leave it off to the side because we don't need those anymore. These little glass holders, these little things that keep everything in place, we're just gonna bend it around the frame. And then I also bought these cup hooks from Target. So these are 7/8 of an inch. These are really easy to use. You literally just screw them on. So I'm gonna have 1 cup hook in every single frame, and these are gonna hold up the X's and O's. So I'm just taking a ruler, well, not a ruler, a tape measure because I can't find my ruler, and then I'm gonna measure out the center of each one, make a little mark so that they're all nice and uniform. Then I'm gonna take these cup hooks, and I'm not gonna measure this out. If you want to, you can, but I'm just using the width of the screw to be my measure, and I'm gonna pretty much put it as close to the front of the frame as possible. And I'm doing that because I don't want the back of the cup hook to get in the way when I'm hanging it. You want to be careful about the length of the screw because obviously you don't want to screw it so much that the screw starts to poke through the other side of the frame and then shows. So I'm just going to use this little top of the screw to be my guide, and as soon as it lines up with the frame, that's when I'm going to stop. Again, there's not going to be so much weight on this that I really need it to be all the way in. And then we just want to make sure that the hooks are facing forward because we're going to be hooking our letters on. Now I just need to do this 8 more times with all of the other frames and cup hooks. And then I'm actually going to take these outside and spray paint the whole thing gold. So the next part are these letters. I actually decided I want to spray paint just a single coat of the gold on one side of these letters as well, because I figured if I'm gluing the flowers onto here, a little bit might be peeking through and I don't want just cardboard to show. So I'm just gonna give it a single coat of gold spray paint. I'm really glad that the back side is black. I am gonna use that as the back side of the letters, but it'll look more finished when people are picking up the letters and, you know, actually using them to play. So I already cut out an X here. I am going to do 5 letters of each. Obviously there's only 9 frames, but I'm going to do 5 and 5 just in case someone actually does want to play and it's not just going to be artwork. So I'm going to use this. I actually just freehanded this, but I'm going to use it as my temple for the rest of the X's just to make sure that they're all uniform. And then I'm also going to use this same X as just a guide of how big my O needs to be. And these don't have to be perfect. They are, whoops, I didn't even mean to do that. But these are gonna be hidden underneath the flowers, so they don't have to be perfect. I am just freehanding it. If you prefer, you can use a stencil, or even you can print out large letters and then use that as your template. Then I'm going to try to keep the same width as the lines on the X. So I'm just making myself a little mark and then going around, and I'm going to just try to keep it consistent. Because of course you need the hole in the O to make it a real O. And we're just going to do a little bit of this action. When you're doing that, you want to make sure you have something underneath so you don't scratch your actual like table or floor or wherever you're doing this. So I always have an extra layer of cardboard underneath. I should have an X-Acto knife, but I'm not sure where it is, and I'm a little bit too lazy to look. So I think I'm just going to use my scissors to cut the center out. And now I have my 2 templates. So I have all of my X's and O's cut out. You are going to need a way to hang this, so I'm going to be using yarn that I have on hand, but we need to punch some holes in each of the letters so we can hang them. I don't have a hole puncher, which is totally fine, so I am using my pencil. You can use a pen, whatever you have, and then I am just punching through. Again, I have this extra cardboard underneath, and this time it's so the pencil can go all the way through and actually really create a hole that my yarn will be able to go through. So I'm just going to try to do it in the same spot for every one, and then I'm just going into the back and then ripping off this little piece that was punched, because again, this isn't a real hole puncher, so it's not getting the whole thing off. With the X, we're going to want to do it on both sides so that it hangs centered. So I'm just going to finish this up, then we'll go ahead and spray paint them. Okay, while everything is drying, we are going to prep the flowers. We want the flowers to just be the flowers, no stems or anything like that, because we are going to be sticking them onto the cardboard with some hot glue. So all we have to do is just pluck these off of the stems like so. Super easy. Now all we have to do is just trim this bottom part of the stem so it's more flat and we can glue it on more easily. Okay guys, I have my letters with the single coat of the gold spray paint. I was originally thinking that I was gonna do all of the X's like one of the colors and then all of the O's the other color. But after seeing that whole pile together, I'm like thinking it looks so pretty mixed. Oh, now this looks still pretty too though. Okay, dilemma. Which way are we gonna do it? How pretty is that? Okay, let's just do it side by side. This is really how the DIY process works for me, you guys. I never have the whole plan go according to how I originally envisioned it. I'm always adjusting. I'm thinking we'll do it this way, simply because they're gonna be further apart. I think if they were close together, I would do it all, each letter one single color. But because they're gonna be spread out, it will create more of a uniformity, and I feel like it'll be more visually appealing if we alternate the flower petals. So since my glue is hot, let's get to it. So I'm gonna be using 8 petals per O and 9 petals per X. We wanna make sure that we don't cover up that hole where we're gonna be sticking the string. You guys, how pretty is this? So I ran out of glue, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to come back to this tomorrow. But I'm so excited to finish this. It's gonna be so pretty. Okay, so it is day 2. I'm here in my daughter's room filming today because both Daniel and Layla are home and they're watching TV in the living room, and I didn't want that noise to be in the background. I finished gluing all of the flowers to all of the X's and O's, and you have to see how cute they're looking. Okay, seriously, like how pretty are all of these letters? And then I have one of my gold frames here. It is going to be hanging on a white wall, so I'm just going to lean that there so we can envision it. We only have one more step, and that is to take this yarn and thread it through the holes that we made earlier. I actually already did one, and you can see that I just did 2 simple knots on both sides. And then we'll be able to hang them from the cup hooks like so. So I actually was playing with different ideas of how I was going to hang it. The first idea I had was to actually buy a chain and some jump rings and then use that so the ring that they can hook onto the cup hook. But then part of me was like, well, I don't want to spend more money than I need to on this project. And then a second reason why I decided to just go with this yarn that I had on hand was I loved the idea of it being white, since the wall that we're hanging it on is white, and it kind of just blends in with the wall, so the X's and O's will look like they're kind of just floating in the center of the frame, which I think looks amazing, and it looks very like kind of like fancy in my opinion, a little bit luxurious. For the O, we're doing it as a regular knot. Obviously there's only one hole, so I threaded it through, and then in an effort to keep them hanging as evenly centered as possible, I already hung one of the X's up facing backwards just because the flowers might get in the way, and then I'm going to use that as my template to let me know how low I should hang this and where I should tie the knot. So now that all of them are all tied, I'm just gonna go back and trim off all of the excess yarn. And because I don't want this knot to show when they're hanging off of the frames, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this over, and then I'm gonna take just a dab of hot glue and then glue it right here to keep the knot in place so it doesn't end up coming back to the top and then showing while they hang. And then one last note, these flowers were definitely a little bit smushed when I grabbed them from the store. So I just gave all of them a little bit of TLC and pushed the flowers down. That also helps to cover more of the cardboard. And then it really looks like a full floral letter. Okay, so now that all of our letters are strung and ready to hang from our gold frames, it is just a matter of figuring out where to place this. So again, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if it were all white flowers, I think it would have worked well, you know, throughout the house. But since we had to go with the different shades of pinks, it kind of makes it a little bit harder to place in the house. I was thinking we were going to do it in our bedroom because there's just not a lot of decor going on in our bedroom. Our bedroom is definitely the most neglected decor-wise throughout this house. So I was thinking about putting it in there, but because this is an interactive art piece, it is a tic-tac-toe game after all, I figured maybe we should hang it up in the kitchen because there is a blank wall in the kitchen that just has been needing something, and then that way, you know, people that come over can actually play. It just doesn't really go. Maybe I'll end up getting decor to match it so that it feels like it fits into the kitchen. But then I'm like, are people really gonna play it, or are people just gonna look at it and be like, oh no, you made it, I don't want to touch it, I don't want to mess it up. You know, people are like that when it's something that you made, for sure. But I think we're gonna take it to the kitchen. So let's take it to the kitchen. I am just going to go ahead and make my measurements so I know where to hang each frame. They are going to be hung individually. I considered gluing all of the frames together, but I think I like the idea of them being spread out. But let's just go into the kitchen and see how it goes. All right, you guys, we are all done. Our gold and pink floral oversized tic-tac-toe wall game slash decor. I think it's really, really cute. I'm not sure how long we're going to keep it up here in the kitchen because it just completely does not go in this kitchen. I might have to transfer it to the bedroom, but we'll see. These are pretty high ceilings, so I didn't want it too low, even though I still wanted it to be reachable if anyone wanted to play. Unfortunately, if kids want to play, they're going to need like a step stool or something. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Can you do a thumbs up? Say thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss any of my next videos. And until then, we'll see you next time. Say bye. Wait. Bye. Bye. And bye. And bye.
Chris Jones, he's had a sack in each of the last 6 games. He got some interior pressure. They're going to need more of that.